I hoped you learned something today, especially from looking at local history. And especially, I hope that you took some opportunity to think about liberty. Think about the characters that we saw today. There was Mr. Chapman. He obeyed the letter of the law. Was he right to do so? Or Mr. Slauson, who obeyed his rule of faith. Was he wrong to do that? When we look at liberty, we ought to take a look at what Mr. Fately said. That we need to look at it from an individual point of view, and that we need to be individual stewards of our liberty. It's amazing to think about what happened in France and with France's idea and conceptualization of liberty. In 1797, the Isle of Saint Domingue had a slave revolt, and it was under the control of France. But France at that time was going through a revolution of its own, a revolution built on equality, fraternity, and liberty. In the spirit of that time, because of that slave revolt, they granted freedom to everyone that was involved. An epic move. But that wasn't to be, because 10 short years later, as the revolution fizzled, everyone that was involved in it were put into jail and back in chains and charged with treason against the country. Liberty is something that has to be nurtured, has to be cared for. And it comes from the Latin root word liber, which referred to a freed man, a former slave. But there's something else about the root word for liberty from Latin. It means a flowing, a gushing out, a spilling forth. And the thing about it is, liberty is like that. It goes through ebbs and flows throughout our history. And it's something that we need to watch over and look carefully at and maintain. Or else we're bound to lose liberty. And it's something that our individual responsibilities have to take care of.